Tuesday Drive.
Now, I'd love you to cast your mind back to school. Now, it can be high school, or if you can cast back further to primary school, then that's even better. And now, while you're in that zone, can you remember what your favourite subject was? Now, mine was English. I'm not sure why it always resonated with me, probably because there was a bit of a flair of theatre in there at the best of times. But I've got to say, one of my least favourite subjects was maths, especially the rope learning of the times table. Ugh. But I've got to say, if I had have lived in the world with the spoils of modern technology that we do today, perhaps life for me would have been a lot different. Joining me on Tuesday Drive is Michael Ricks, who has not only designed an app that makes times tables easy, but he's also picked up a 5-star rating from the Educational App Store. Michael, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Stephen.
Now tell me, why did you design the app?
Oh, in primary school, the one thing that causes the most stress for the majority of children is rote learning the times tables. And so I really wanted to make a difference to a lot of the kids in the world, and that's where I thought I could make the most difference if I could create something that not only removed the stress but also accelerated the rate at which they could learn the times tables.
And how did you go about actually developing this app?
Well, it's quite a unique app in that it actually teaches the times tables using animated characters, and so each of the times tables has their own character, whether it be Connie the kangaroo or Noah the numbat, and it was all local talent that went into those characters. So 7 of the characters were drawn by a guy by the name of Adam Murphy, who actually lives in Wollongong, and he's better known for the animation of the Peter Rabbit movies and the Lego 2 movies, so quite a talented guy. Some of the voice acting was done by Sue and Steve from the Sydney Puppet Theatre, and then there was a bunch of young local guys who'd studied animation locally but couldn't get jobs, and they did all the animation.
Sounds like you've got a lot of locals involved, which is that's just absolutely wonderful. But when it actually came to trying to work out, the best way to teach kids to learn the times tables, who were you working with, or was it just purely yourself, Michael?
No, there's a number of professors at Stanford University who've done a lot of study of the brain, and so a lot of their research and thinking went into it. And so what the brain's not particularly good at is remembering numbers and symbols. So it doesn't like to remember 12 times 11 equals 132. But what it is good at remembering is concepts, and particularly if you can display those contexts using visual animation. And so take the 12 times tables, for instance, rather than have to rote learn it, we just teach the kids that 12 times is the same as 10 times plus 2 times, and everybody knows their 10 times tables and their 2 times tables, so if you add them together then you also know your 12 times tables. So it not only takes the stress out of remembering the 12 times tables, it also makes it a lot quicker for kids to learn how to solve all of their times tables. And on top of that, it teaches them to think mathematically. It teaches them the skill of number sense, which then differentiates, it's been proven to differentiate the kids that are good at maths from those that are not so good at maths.
All right, now you've just blown my mind a little bit there, Michael. Now, as I mentioned at the start, I was never a big fan of maths when it came to primary school, and I know we always used to have the big times table poster on the wall, and the 10 time tables were one of my favourites, as was the 1 times table. So, using your theory, if I was to say to you, Michael, what is 12 by 7, can you give me an answer?
Yeah, well, I just go 10 times 7, which is 70.
Yep.
Plus 2 times 7, which is 14. So 70 plus 14 is 84.
And is that what's going into the app itself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
That's how we teach it.
Now, I understand your app has also picked up a 5-star rating. Tell me a bit about that.
Oh, the most popular search on Google when it comes to apps is the educationalappstore.com. And so what you can do is submit your app to those guys, and they'll have one of their certified teachers actually give it a rating, and then also a score out of 100. So I was fortunate enough to be able to have received a 5-star rating and a score of 94 out of 100.
You must have been pretty stoked to get that. 'Cause I imagine that's something that, anybody can't just get 5 stars.
Yeah, I was certainly stoked. I mean, 2 years of work went into sort of researching and developing the app, so it was good at the end of it to get some recognition.
And how difficult is it to pop an app up on an app store?
It requires, there's two parts of it. One is you've got to design the user interface, which are all the visuals, and so that's where all the animation comes in and all the artistry. But then secondly, you also need someone to do the coding that sort of makes the whole thing fit together. So it does take some time and it's quite an expensive exercise as well.
Now, have you actually tested it out on some kids yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Before it was released, we tested it on kids, and we can also see kids progressing through the app in the database. So, if most sort of 6 to 9-year-old kids, if they were committed to it, would be able to progress through the app in a couple of weeks and as I said, learn the times tables and number sense at the same time.
And have you actually seen some kids that have used it at the start, and then say a few weeks later, you've actually seen their skills increase?
Well, in order to progress through the app, you have to get the answers correct. So there's like 156 questions. So you know that if kids are progressing through the app, that they actually have not only learnt the times tables, but developed the skill of number sense as well.
And just finally, before I let you go, Michael, what was your favourite subject at school?
Maths.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're not just saying that, are you?
And I didn't realise it at the time, but it was because I did have number sense, If you ask me to solve 18 times 4, I could have given you 4 different ways to solve it. And that's really the skill that you need to teach kids when it comes to maths. And so those kids that believe they don't have a maths brain, it's not that they don't have a maths brain, they just haven't learnt the skill of number sense. Everyone can learn a maths brain.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. And once again, congratulations. It's a job well done.
Yeah, thanks very much, Stephen. I appreciate the time.
Absolute pleasure. That was Michael Ricks, whose app Times Tables Made Easy has picked up 5 stars from the Education App Store, which I've got to say is a great achievement and was created right here in the Illawarra. And if you're interested in it for your child or yourself, you can find it wherever you get your good applications for your smart devices. It is 25 past 5. This is Tuesday Drive, and considering our chat with Michael, I thought this next song from the Pet Shop Boys was most appropriate.
This is Tuesday Drive.